everyone, welcome back to another book review. My name is Muskan, and if you're new here, I generally read books and post reviews about them. The book that I'm going to be discussing today, I bought it last month and I had been hearing a lot of good things about this book. It's part of a series, it's the first book of a series, and it's been a while since I've gotten myself hooked to a non-fantasy series. So I did not really have that high expectations from this one, but boy did it surprise me. So without further ado, the book that we are going to be discussing today is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So for those of you who don't know anything about this book, so this book is about a girl named Avery who inherits billions worth of fortune from a random old guy who just died. And Avery has no clue why. So Avery lives with her half-sister Libby. They share the same dad, but they had different moms, and Avery's died a couple of years back. And one fine day, this old billionaire dude dies, and she gets informed that she has inherited a $46.2 billion fortune. And the most obvious reason is that she might have been an illegitimate child of the Hawthorne family, but that was thankfully not the case. So Avery is now curious as to why she has inherited this big-ass fortune. And to make things interesting, the guy who has left Avery the fortune, Mr. Hawthorne, might actually have had a reason of doing so. And he sort of made this into a game. There are puzzles and riddles in this book through which Avery and the 4 other grandsons of the Hawthorne family work together to find out why the old man did what he did. Since it's a young adult novel, of course there's a love angle to it. Avery is sort of in a love triangle situation which is starting to build up between Jameson and Grayson Hawthorne. The love triangle was not the main plot of the book, thankfully. However, as a subplot, I think it's fine right now. I'm guessing it's gonna develop more in the upcoming books. But the main plot of the book, which is the riddles and why Mr. Hawthorne decided to leave most of his fortune to this random girl Avery and not his family. By the end of the book, we have just started to unravel the mystery, and I could not put this book down, guys. It has been a very long time since there was a book in my hand which I had to finish, and this book unexpectedly became that, and I'm so happy to have found this. And as I'm recording this video, I've already started listening to the audiobook of the second book. I didn't really buy the full set of this book, since before I invest my money into a series, I generally like to see if I like the first one. And damn, I really should have gotten the whole set. I got the Audible version of it, so I'm listening to it right now, and I've already ordered the rest of the books from Amazon. So if you've not read the book, I don't know what you're waiting for. You should definitely go ahead and read it. Now for those of you who've read this book, so I'm going to start off by discussing what I did not enjoy about this book, because that list is very small, and then I will jump to the part where I will describe what all I liked. So what I didn't really like about this book, I think it might get better with the second and third book, was the love triangle between Jameson, Grayson and Avery. So the first Hawthorne brother that we are introduced to is Grayson. He's not really presented in the best light, since he's the heir apparent and it's his fortune that has been given to Avery and not even to any of his other brothers. So the Hawthorne family has 4 brothers: Nash, Grayson, Jameson and Zan. All of them have different fathers. I think that part was also not very clear. It was very funny when Grayson, or was it Jameson? I think one of them described that their mother Sky thinks it's sort of a Zeus, Athena sort of a situation where the dad doesn't really matter who it is. So the love triangle is between Grayson, Jameson and Avery. And why I didn't really enjoy that is because of the Emily factor in it. Emily was juggling both Grayson and Jameson around, and now Avery is there. That sort of makes Avery a replacement for Emily. I don't know, I'm not really a fan of the ex-girlfriend ghost genre, where the ex-love interest has so much hold in the story. I don't really enjoy that. Also, Jameson totally became an asshole after he found out that Avery might have been chosen randomly because of her birthday. I think that was not really nice. I don't think it fit well with the character development that we saw of Jameson throughout the book. But I really like how Grayson grew throughout the book. Even though he seems like somebody who would protect Avery, I mean, he threw his mother out of the house. She tried to have Avery killed, and he seemed like somebody who would love Avery a lot. I am damn sure that Avery will end up with Jameson, because that is how these books work. I would be surprised if I'm wrong. Might be a welcome surprise too, but who knows? Since I've only finished the first book, so I have no idea what's gonna happen next. I don't really want a situation like A Coat of Thorns and Roses, where everybody was swooning after Tamlin and Reason, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but that guy seems to be the villain of that book. And then A Coat of Mist and Fury happens. But Sire J. Maas is a topic for another day. Today we are discussing The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So moving on to the things that I loved about this book, and I know everybody loves the riddles and I do too, but what I loved about this book more than anything is how small the chapters were. I think an average chapter in this book is about 2 pages or 1.5 pages. And it just made the book feel so fast-paced. Honestly, in today's world where we just keep on consuming 30-second, 10-second content on Instagram and YouTube, I didn't think this before, but after reading this book, I definitely think that good quality books with shorter chapters are going to be much easier to consume and will feel like they are very fast-paced, because something or the other is happening in one chapter, and there are 90 chapters in this book, and if you look at it, it's not that big. I mean, it's only about 370 pages or so, and it's not that big, and it has 90 chapters, so you can imagine. And I read this book in about 2.5 nights, because during the day I have to go to the office. It was so good that it actually cut into my Netflix time, which doesn't really happen. But while I was working the whole day in office, all I could think of was to go back and find out what is happening next. So coming to the puzzles and riddles. So generally, when we're reading books with puzzles or riddles in them, there are 2 factors that don't really make this experience as enjoyable as Jennifer did in The Inheritance Games. And those 2 things are, they're really the main plot of the book. It's not like one clue leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. And that is the main plot of this book. And the second thing is that they're usually very vague. There is so much of the other plot in between that we sort of forget about them, and they don't seem like they would have been solvable by us. But that's where The Inheritance Games changed the game. They made the riddles and the puzzles the main plot of the book. Mr. Hawthorne being the master manipulator from the grave, manipulating and making all of his grandsons and Avery play this game. All this time, Avery is also trying to be a player in the game. She doesn't really know where she fits, and we're reading through Avery's character. Avery doesn't know if she's a player or a pawn in the game, and that sort of kicks up the excitement as well. The riddles and the puzzles in this book were actually believable and solvable, but not to a point that they were too easy to spot. They were hard enough. When I actually saw the solution, I believed in the logic of the answer. It made sense to me, everything connected, and the mystery never wore off. Even till the end of the book, where Avery finds out that Henry, the homeless guy that she had been playing chess with, was Tobias Hawthorne. In the back of my mind, I actually speculated that, but not till towards the end of the book. So it did not feel like the plot was easy to guess. The book gave just enough hints required to keep us hooked. So I ended up giving The Inheritance Games a 4.5 stars out of 5. The pacing was fabulous, the mystery was maintained throughout, and I could not keep it down, and I have already started reading the next one, even though I don't have the physical copies. I will definitely be reviewing the following book. Stay tuned to watch my reaction to the full series. So that's it for the review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've read The Inheritance Games, do let me know in the comments below your thoughts on it. And if you liked the review, please do like, share, and subscribe.